Hey everyone, welcome. So if you've spent any time at all in UX design, you've definitely heard of heuristics. But there's a world of difference between just knowing their names and actually wielding them like a pro. Today we're going to break down a strategic framework that'll help you turn them from a simple checklist into a seriously powerful design tool.
So, have you ever heard this? Or, be honest, have you ever said it yourself? Yeah, that sentence right there is one of the biggest, most common mistakes a new designer can make. It treats heuristics like they're these rigid laws written in stone. And in this explainer, we are going to completely tear that idea apart.
All right, first up, the heuristic checklist trap. This is the first hurdle for so many designers. It's this tendency to see heuristics as just a to-do list you have to check off to make a good design. And that really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? I mean, knowing the names of Nielsen's 10 heuristics, that's one thing. But understanding how to actually apply them as flexible principles in really complex real-world design decisions, well, that's a whole different ballgame.
Okay, so let's talk about a new mindset. We've got to stop thinking about heuristics as these strict, unbreakable rules and start seeing them for what they truly are: powerful decision-making filters. Let's just make sure we're all on the same page with the definition. UX heuristics are experience-based principles. And the key word there is principles. They describe what usually works and what usually causes problems. Notice I said usually. They are not absolute laws of the universe.
And this is where it really clicks. When you see them side by side, thinking of them as rules just leads to a rigid checklist mentality that kind of shuts down any real conversation. But thinking of them as filters? That opens up everything. It starts strategic conversations about trade-offs and priorities. It's a total game changer. This is the fundamental question a filter helps you ask. Instead of a simple, is it right or wrong, you're now using the heuristic as a lens, a way to evaluate the potential impact a decision might have on the person using your product.
All right, that all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually put this new mindset into practice? Let's walk through a strategic framework that turns this whole idea into an actionable process you can use right away. So here it is, a simple 5-step process. But I want you to notice the order. You start by identifying the user's goal and their context. Then you zero in on the specific design decision. It's only at step 4 that you bring in a heuristic to evaluate it. And this is so crucial. Heuristics don't replace your critical thinking. They come in after you've done the hard work.
Okay, enough theory. Let's make this feel real. We're going to walk through a few real-world examples to see exactly how this framework plays out when the rubber meets the road.
Let's kick things off with a classic, error prevention. Just imagine you're working on a fintech app, and your user is about to transfer a big chunk of money. The stakes are pretty high here.
Now, a bad checklist-driven approach might make you disable everything and just spam the user with warnings. I mean, sure, it prevents errors, but wow, is it frustrating. The correct application uses the heuristic as a filter. It prompts you to ask better questions, like, how bad is this error? Can we undo it? And that leads to a much more balanced solution, like a really clear confirmation step or an easy way to get help if things go wrong.
All right, next up, let's talk about consistency, a heuristic that gets misunderstood all the time. The scenario? You're designing the main navigation for a brand new mobile app. So the bad application is just to blindly copy the navigation from some other popular app. But that's not real consistency. The correct application is to ask, what's consistent within our own app? What patterns have our users already learned from us? This shows you're building on the expectations for your product, not just chasing a trend.
And for our final example, recognition over recall. This one is all about making things easier on the user's brain. Let's say your user is booking a cab.
So the bad application makes the user do all the work, forcing them to remember their home address, type it all out, remember some promo code they saw. But the correct application, using this heuristic as a filter, leads you to design choices that actively help the user. You show them a list of recent locations. You automatically pop up available offers. You're taking the cognitive load off of them.
Okay, let's zoom back out. All of these examples, they're really pointing to one core principle, what I like to think of as the designer's golden rule.
And here it is. Seriously, if you take one single thing away from this explainer, let it be this. It is absolutely okay to break a heuristic. What's not okay is breaking it without a good, solid reason. Your decision has to be intentional. Just remember, heuristics are tools to support your design reasoning. They are the evidence you bring to the table to explain your trade-offs and to justify your decisions. They are never, ever a substitute for actually thinking through the problem.
And that leaves us with one last thought. With this new framework in your back pocket, I want you to go look at your own work, or even just the apps you use every single day. Start asking, what trade-offs are being made here, and are they justified? What trade-off will you justify next?